I've always been fascinated by quotes from the great personalities of past and present. Words from the leaders of humanity define the times in which they lived, reflecting just who they were as people. Through these quotes, we learn so much about the differences and similarities between past and present. From Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle to Lenin, Marx, Putin, Reagan, Obama, and many others, great people have laid claim to their respective eras through the memorable words they bestowed upon us. With that in mind, and as we get closer to the November 2024 elections, I thought it would be helpful to compare quotes on a variety of topics from both Donald Trump and Joe Biden. One of these men will most likely be the next leader of the free world. The other might end up in jail. I'll let you decide who I'm talking about. It could go either way. So which of these two truly defines our era? You decide. Please watch and feel free to comment below. And please hit the subscribe and/or like button. It would really help this channel to get our subscriber base up to 1,000. And the likes really make me feel good. Thanks so much, and here we go. We'll be listing a topic followed by a quote from each of the candidates for the top office in the land. Again, please comment below with your thoughts. The first topic is on immigration. A topic near and dear to his heart, Donald Trump said that, "We got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country." On the other hand, Joe Biden said, "We need an immigration system that both upholds our laws and reflects our values." On foreign relations with NATO, Donald Trump once said, "NATO is obsolete. It's old, it's fat, it's sloppy, but I think NATO can still be useful." Joe Biden struck a different tone, saying, "NATO is critically important for U.S. interests in and of itself. If there was no NATO, we'd have to invent one." On delicate trade relations with China, Donald Trump said, "China is eating our lunch, and it's not even close." Speaking a little more definitively, Joe Biden said, "We will confront China's economic abuses, counter its aggressive, coercive action, and push back on China's attack on human rights, intellectual property, and global governance." Speaking of China, specifically on COVID-19, Donald Trump said, "We're doing a great job with it, and it will go away. Just stay calm. It will go away." At the time, Joe Biden said, "Wearing masks is not a political statement, it's a scientific imperative." Regarding racial discrimination in the United States, Donald Trump said this about himself, "I am the least racist person there is anywhere in the world." Joe Biden said about public policy, "We have to continue to work on closing the gap between the promise of our ideals and the reality of their time." Speaking about our relationship with Russia, Donald Trump said, "Having a good relationship with Russia is a good thing, not a bad thing." Joe Biden was a little tougher. He said, "I made it clear to President Putin, in a manner very different from my predecessor, that the days of the United States rolling over in the face of Russia's aggressive actions are over." Speaking of Putin, Donald Trump said this about the dictator, "I have no relationship with him other than he called me a genius." He said, "Donald Trump is a genius, and he is going to be the leader of the party, and he's going to be the leader of the world or something." Meanwhile, Joe Biden said this, "I told President Putin my agenda is not against Russia or anyone else. It's for the American people." On North Korea's dictator Kim Jong-un, Donald Trump was quoted as saying, "I have a great relationship with Kim Jong-un." On the other hand, Joe Biden said this, "Kim Jong-un's abusive regime is as dangerous as ever. The United States must be tough, prepared, and ready to deter and defend." Speaking about going to a United States military cemetery, Trump once said, "Why should I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers." Meanwhile, Joe Biden said this about our veterans. "Veterans are the backbone, the spine of who we are as a country. We have only one truly sacred obligation: to prepare and equip those we send to war and care for them and their families when they come home." One veteran in particular, John McCain, was a particular target of Donald Trump's ire. He said this about the man, "He's not a war hero. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured." Joe Biden was a little more respectful saying this about his political rival. John McCain was a man of deep conviction and a patriot of the highest order. On the idea about a constitutional separation of church and state, Donald Trump said, "But no one will be touching the cross of Christ under the Trump administration, I swear to you. And the left is trying to shame Christians. They're trying to shame us. I'm a very proud Christian." Joe Biden, a devout Catholic, said, "The First Amendment grants us a right to worship freely, but it also guarantees the separation of church and state." On free trade versus tariffs, Donald Trump said, "I'm not a free trader, but I am a free trader. But I'm also a fair trader and a smart trader. I want to make sure that the United States gains something, so I think you would probably agree." Joe Biden said, "We need to build a united front of friends and partners to challenge China's abusive behavior and counter unfair trade practices." On the border wall with Mexico, Donald Trump said, "I will build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me. Believe me, and I'll build them very inexpensively. I will build a great wall on our southern border, and I will make Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words." Joe Biden said, "There will not be another foot of wall constructed on my administration." On U.S. patriotism, Donald Trump simply says this over and over again: "Make America great again." Joe Biden has been a little more eloquent, saying, "America has never lived up to its founding promise, but we've never stopped trying. This Independence Day, let's recommit to that fight and remember, we are all in this together." On women, Donald Trump famously said, "And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab 'em by the pussy. You can do anything." Joe Biden strikes a slightly different tone. He once said, "This is a big deal for our country and for our daughters and granddaughters today. Thanks to you, my daughters and granddaughters know they can do anything." Finally, regarding presidential immunity, a topic which will soon be weighed in on by the Supreme Court, Donald Trump says, "I have an Article 2, where I have the right to do whatever I want as president." Meanwhile, Joe Biden said, "No one, not even the president, is above the law." Well, that's it for now. I know who I'm voting for this November. But please think for yourself. Do your own research and make your own decision. Speaking of voting, here's one last set of quotes. Donald Trump once said, "This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen. The only way we're going to lose this election is if the election is rigged." Joe Biden gets the last words. He said, "The right to vote is sacred and fundamental. It's the most important right in our democracy. Ensuring that every eligible voter can vote and that every vote is accurately counted is a core American principle." If you made it this far, please hit the like button, and if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to the channel. It would really help us out. Thanks so much.